a ridiculous verdict of a woman I have never met. I don't know. I have no idea who she is. She wrote a book and she made a ridiculous story up. She put it in her book, and we're now appealing the decision. We had an extremely hostile judge appointed by Clinton, very good friends of Clinton. I guess he presided over the marriage ceremony of one of the lawyers on the case against us.
And for some reason, Donald Trump decided to appeal a sexual abuse case against E. Jean Carroll that has him on the hook for millions of dollars. But after the 20-minute hearing, he felt the hole he was in wasn't deep enough, so he requested a press conference and a grave-digging shovel.
I never met the woman other than this picture, which could have been AI generated, I don't know, showed up out of nowhere, but it's fine. Nice picture with her husband, and lots of other people are online. It's a celebrity line. But never met her, never touched her, never had anything to do with her. The other thing is I was very famous then. If I would have walked into Bergdorf Goodman, the department store that she said, everybody would have said, oh, there's Trump. And it would have been, at that time, on page 6. Page 6 was the equivalent of today's internet.
Okay, so we got a woman he's never met before, unless you count the time that he met her, which doesn't count because he met her with other people around, unless you believe it was AI generated from the 80s, when the plot to take down Trump's candidacy about 40 years later was hatched. But the main thing you should realize is that he was famous, and that the celebrity gossip column, page 6, was the same as today's internet. At least we know what he uses the internet for.
I have no idea who this woman is. They have a picture from, they say, about 40 years ago, a picture. And the picture depicts her and her husband on a celebrity line where I was the celebrity. I was been a celebrity for a long time. And they were shaking my hands along with hundreds of other people. But this is a disgraceful case, and disgraceful in particular because it's about a former president of the United States who is now leading in the polls to be the president again.
Yes, he brought up the picture multiple times while disputing the fact that he met her. What you're going to discover is that this guy was focused only on a few things throughout this entire impromptu campaign ad for VP Harris. Number one, he never met E. Jean Carroll. 2, the picture keeps regenerating into different forms. There are a lot of women accusing him of sexual abuse, and the most important thing to him, he's a celebrity.
There were 2 witnesses. One is a woman who's followed me for years. She said in 1979 I was in an airplane with her, commercial flight, and we became very intimate. I just sat down. I think I had the book, The Art of the Deal. I was famous then, too. I've been famous for a long time.
Don't forget, he's famous.
And we're sitting in first class, according to her. Never happened, by the way. Totally made up story. She's a Clinton person, too, by the way. Big Clinton person. She made up the story. And so many years ago, and I think it would be 1979, one of my many people behind me could correct it, but I think she said 1979, that's a long time ago. And I sat down. I believe I had some pretty big success then, and I was being talked about a lot. Maybe The Art of the Deal was out, sometime after that, I'm not sure. But I was well known.
Make sure you guys remember, he was well known.
And passengers are coming into the plane. And she said I was making out with her. And then, after 15 minutes, and then she changed her story a couple of times, maybe it was quicker, that I grabbed her at a certain part, and that was when she had enough. Now, so think of the impracticality of this. I'm famous. I'm in a plane. People are coming into the plane. And I'm looking at a woman, and I grab her, and I start kissing her and making out with her. What are the chances of that happening? What are the chances?
I'm automatically attracted to beautiful. I just start kissing them. It's like a magnet. Just I don't even wait. And when you're a star, they let you do it. You can do anything.
Whatever you want.
Grab them by the I can do anything.
And frankly, I know you're going to say it's a terrible thing to say, but it couldn't have happened. It didn't happen. And she would not have been the chosen one. She would not have been the chosen one.
Why did he do this? Did he get so used to damning press conferences during his New York fraud case that he misses this ridicule? Right after appearing in front of a skeptical panel of judges, he goes out and reels off the details of another woman's accusations against him that match up with Carroll's. The only thing that would be worse is if he gave the public another story of sexual abuse.
Then you have another one, and this one is a writer for People magazine, who I actually thought was very nice. She came to Mar-a-Lago, and she wrote the most beautiful story you've ever seen. It was a love story about Melania and myself, a love story in People magazine. Her name was whoever. Let's see. Her name was who? Swornoff, yeah. I don't have it. Whatever her name was. I don't know the lady, so perhaps it's much better that way, but I really don't know the lady. It turned out that the same lady that wrote this beautiful story years later said I attacked her. Now, think of this. Oh, and she said the butler knew everything. The old expression, the butler did it, right? Very famous in crime stories. Well, the butler was Tony Senecal, worked for me for a long time. He was retired at that time. That was years later. He retired. He was retired when this hoax came out. And what happened is he totally confirmed my story, and he didn't even work for me anymore. He passed away.
Yo, this is unreal. He wants everyone to know that his appeal to overturn the ruling against him in the E. Jean Carroll case is legit. So he goes on to let everyone know that he's got a track record for doing the very thing that he's been found liable for doing. The victim's attorneys couldn't have called a better press conferences themselves.
I feel sad that I have to come up here and explain it. I have all this legal talent, but legal talent cannot overcome rigged judges. They can't overcome a 4% Republican area. And I'm disappointed in my legal talent, I'll be honest with you. They're good. They're good people. They're talented people. Today at the trial, they didn't mention the dress. So the Monica Lewinsky type dress was a big part of the trial. Big part of the trial. I said, why didn't you mention that? And I heard there was a dress involved. And I wasn't frightened at all because I did nothing with her. Never touched this woman, saw this woman, had no idea who she was. But they have a dress, sir. I said, so what? Well, sir, it's very sir. They used that dress to try and intimidate me. They used that dress with the public. That dress was such a famous dress. It was Monica Lewinsky, Part 2.
He called a press conference, said a well-known picture from 1987 is AI generated, gave the stories of two other women's assault accusations that have similarities to Carroll's account. Then this guy publicly slams his two attorneys that are standing right behind him for not talking about the Monica Lewinsky-style dress component of the case. One of the most salacious aspects of the most infamous presidential affair stories ever. No wonder his lawyer, Alina Habba, has to double as his counsel and his campaign commercial star.
Don't forget, under Trump Vance, no tax on tips, baby. Go to DonaldJTrump.com, go get the stickers, no tax on tips, and help me make America great again. Thanks.
No tax on tips, baby. How does he convince people to completely destroy their professional lives for him, only for him to blame them for every problem that he created? Alina Habba was his attorney in the New York fraud case that he lost, the campaign spokesperson that had daily post-trial complaint sessions with the media. And now she's the no tax on tips sticker lady in his campaign ads. You know what? I'm gonna leave you guys with the main takeaway that Trump made sure to drive home about 12 times so that everyone was very aware. It's a very good point he wanted to make. Here, watch.
I could go through many other stories outside of this. You know, it's very funny. When you're rich and famous, you get a lot of people come up with a lot of stories.